I'm Crystal West, and today we're going to talk about the Birmingham Children's March.
Cheers, Crystal.
Let's march. Delicious.
All right, so where does our story begin?
Who knows? So, our story begins in 1963 in Alabama, where racism is so deeply embedded in the community. But the breaking point for Gwendolyn Sanders was when she realized in the 7th grade that her textbook had previously been used by a white 5th grader. And she's like, I knew I wasn't allowed to go to the same movie theaters and shit like that as white people, but y'all are giving us raggedy old textbooks that you are giving your 5th graders. Like, not only do you not give a about me or my people, you don't give a about my education either. And so she realized then that things needed to change and she wanted to be a part of it. So around the time that this story starts,
It's sharded.
Don't let the story shart. So around this same time, Martin Luther King Jr. was urging the newly elected President Kennedy, like, man, we need some official legislation to stop the bullshit that's happening to black people. Like, you need to get involved, you're the f***ing president. And Kennedy sympathized. He was like, you know, I agree with you, but the party is still made up of poor white Southern voters and I cannot alienate them, which, doesn't that sound super familiar and kind of distressing? Right. So Dr. King is using the 16th Street Baptist Church to try to organize protests. And Martin Luther King being like, yo, for real though, it's time for us to do something. And the adults were like, listen, it's not that we don't agree with you, but at the end of the day, I still have to put food on the table and pay the rent in this hole. I don't want them burning crosses on my lawn or any shit like that. So, like, bitch, it's not safe. We can't do this. And Dr. King was like, if we can't enact change in Birmingham, we can't do it anywhere. Who can join in the protest and get arrested with us? And he was sort of shocked to see Gwendolyn Sanders and her sisters get up and say, you know what, we'll do it. We will do something about this. And then more and more kids stood up to volunteer. They decided to mobilize. So that's exactly what they did. They went back to school like, listen, we know y'all are sick of the racism, and there's something we can actually do about it. And on May 2nd, the protest went down. Administrators started locking the doors to keep them from getting out. And kids would just straight up jump out the window like, bitch, you're not gonna keep us here. Over 1,000 kids left school to go to Kelly Ingram Park to protest. But then Will Connor, head of the Birmingham Police Department, was like, okay, well, y'all's black asses can go to jail. And so they started carting these kids off by the dozens, and over 1,000 kids were arrested on that first day, which is insane. After a few days of protests, the Birmingham jail was totally overcrowded. And so as more kids are arrested, others come back out to take up their place. But on May 5th, that was when shit got really real. Will Connor was looking at hundreds of black kids standing up to his bullshit. He was like, let's bring out the hoses. These are high pressure, knock you the out water hoses. But the kids realized their strength in numbers and togetherness matters. So those kids linked hands and said, not today, bitch, not today. So Bull Connor decides, oh, okay, release the K9 units so that the dogs could these kids up. Excuse me. And at this point, there were news crews there that caught the entire situation on camera, and these are now some of the most infamous shots of the civil rights movement. And after people saw children on international TV being sprayed with hoses and attacked by dogs, a mind shift occurred. And after 8 solid days of protest, President Kennedy felt motivated to come out and say, you know what? I didn't want to say it before because of the Southern white voters, but them motherfuckers are racist. So it's time to just be real. The shit that you are going out here and doing to people in my name is not the okay. Oh man, I love drinking. How come I don't do this more? Woo! So anyway, who was I talking about? The kids.
Yeah.
So after the success of the Birmingham Children's March, Dr. King decided to ride that momentum and he gave his I Have a Dream speech. Bull Connor was fired. And the Civil Rights Act was passed within a year of all that. So it was monumental that Gwendolyn Sanders and these kids were willing to say, this is not a f***ing game, and you won't treat us and our people this way because we're here and this is what's going on and it's time for us to stand up to. And so I don't have to worry about that sort of thing the way those kids even did or their parents even did.
No,
I don't take that for granted.
Cheers to the kids.
Cheers to the kids.
All right.
This is gone. I'm not drinking shit else.
No, no more.
Done, Viacom.